Hello, everyone, and welcome to Just Ask Freeman. I'm your host, Paul Gephardt, with my special guest today, Mr. Freeman Owen of Just Ask Freeman TV and Financial Services, Inc., CEO and founder.
Exactly.
How long you been doing this now, Freeman?
Since 1979.
1979.
Exactly. Oh, first, Paul.
Yeah.
I'd like to give a shout out to my wife. 49 years. Celebrated her birthday. Happy birthday, Carolyn.
Oh, happy birthday, Carolyn. Happy birthday. That's fantastic.
And you know, you and I discussed prior to coming on the air.
Yeah.
Since it was a birthday and we're talking about numbers. Okay. Let's discuss maybe, if you don't mind, daily life is full of numbers. What do you think about that?
Let's do that. Daily life is full of numbers. What do you mean, Freeman?
All right. We're going to talk about contribution rates to employer-sponsored retirement accounts.
Okay.
Your credit scores. All this is centered around retirement, Paul. Their debt-to-income ratios, we're going to go into a little bit of detail about that. Net worth, and, knowing 4 critical numbers when it comes to retirement, I think is very important for our viewing audience to really understand it. We make mistakes, but we're going to help clients or our listeners, I should say, our viewing audience, to avoid costly mistakes during their retirement and adhere to these critical numbers when it comes to their retirement income. All right?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's get started.
All right, let's get started.
Okay.
Now, let's talk about retirement plan contribution rates.
Okay.
What percentage of your salary do you contribute to your employer-sponsored retirement accounts? Notice I said, quote, employer.
Yes.
Sponsored retirement accounts.
Yeah, so you're talking like 401ks and whatnot, right, Freeman?
TSPs, exactly.
Okay. All right.
403Bs, all those numbers in there.
Yeah, yeah.
All righty. I would recommend anywhere between 10 to 15%.
Okay.
But then we have participants, or I should say viewing audience, say, well, Freeman, I don't have that 10 to 15% to start. You know what I say?
What?
Start from where you stay.
Oh, I like that.
Whether it's 5%, 7%, but the ideal would be anywhere between 10 and 15. And if you can contribute more to your employer-sponsored retirement accounts, that would be beneficial.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. Now, second number, credit score. You know, your word is your bond.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
All righty. This is the second of the 4 financial numbers you should know. Because even when you retire, you still may be needing credit, big ticket items. And that's why that swings that around, Paul, when we talk about debt.
Yes.
We're going to discuss that in the later show, too.
Okay.
How to reduce debt or eliminate debt. So it's very, very important to have good credit.
Right.
You might need a credit card. And I said big ticket items like automobiles during your retirement. So that'll likely factor into the approval decision in order to get better interest rates. Now, debt to income ratio.
Yeah. That's a big deal, isn't it?
It really is. That's another number that lenders use when deciding whether to offer you credit. If it's too high, okay, that is your DTI. I'm going to refer to it as DTI, debt to income ratio.
Got it.
That means you're overextended.
Yes.
And I can't tell you how often I have said on this show and other media outlets, we have to eliminate debt when we step into that retirement journey.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, isn't debt the biggest robber of a person's wealth to begin with?
Exactly.
Isn't that why they have trouble investing in their futures, Freeman?
What you said there is true, Paul. Debt even can determine how happy you are.
Oh.
Now, if you, woe is me, I owe this person, I owe this company, I put a lot of emphasis on in my practice when we do our reviews. let's get rid of credit card debt. Let's get rid of big ticket items such as automobile debt. You don't want to step into your retirement. You notice, Paul, I'm taking a little time on this.
No, I think it's fantastic
Yeah.
because can I? First of all, I'm gonna pay you a compliment right out of the gate, Freeman. A lot of people I talk to on the financial planning side of it, they don't address enough these types of things, in my opinion.
Exactly.
Debt doesn't come up enough, and having control of your debt is what you're talking about. Determines where a person goes in retirement.
It does.
Right?
It does. I agree with you on that because if you have a tremendous amount of debt, that's stress.
You ain't kidding.
So what we talk about and discuss when we do our assessments, I do the reviews for you. The first thing we do is we look at how much is paid, how much do we have to pay out so that we enter our retirement with dignity. And we enter retirement where our mentals are with less stress. Okay, very important number, that debt to income ratio.
Yes.
I would give you some examples of that, but at another time. But once you know your DTI, you can take steps to reduce it if it's necessary. That is so important to your retirement planning.
Okay.
To make sure that when you enter this, I call it the journey. It is a journey.
Absolutely.
Something else, Paul.
Yeah.
Speaking of debt, you can't pull out that American Express, that Visa, and charge your retirement.
No, you're right.
Exactly.
You're absolutely right.
You have to purchase it.
You got to purchase it.
That's
right.
that. Exactly. And the fourth major number is net worth. Okay. This is a snapshot of where you are financially. Okay. To calculate your net worth, you just add up all your assets. Okay. What you own. Subtract out all your liabilities.
Yep.
All righty. And what you owe. And you come up with your net worth. And you can have your net worth grow over time as you save more, pay down debt, and you continue to do that even after retirement. But this is a lead into retirement.
Yeah.
So those four important numbers, those financial numbers, are crucial to your retirement plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other crucial numbers are 403Bs, TSPs, well, I should say 403Bs, 401k, the 401A, being specific, and of course the other employer-sponsored retirement account, not necessarily with numbers, is the TSP. All right.
TSP.
Yes, indeed. So if you really like to know more about these four critical numbers and how we can fit them into your retirement plan, just ask Freeman.
Just ask her.
And you can call us. What's that number, Paul?
It's 833-414-7233.
There you go.
Just ask Freeman. And what's great about this is get the education you need.
That's it.
Because it's about preparation. Let Freeman and his team meet with you, help you get you ready. That peace of mind you're looking for retirement. Right, Freeman?
Exactly.
So we're going to take a quick break here, all right? But we'll be right back after these short messages.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403Bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
Welcome back, everybody, to Just Ask Freeman. I'm your host, Paul Gephardt, with Mr. Freeman Owen Jr. himself. Thank you so much for being with us, Freeman.
Oh, love it.
What a
Glad to
great
be
first
here.
segment, talking debt with folks and helping them get that under control so that they can control their financial future. That's such a vital part. And the fact that folks can come to you and get an education about how to do that, that's the most important part.
That would
You
be
know?
all part of their financial planning package.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that their distribution from their various employer-sponsored retirement accounts, as we mentioned the numbers.
Yeah.
So I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the mistakes.
Ooh, okay.
Folks, you can avoid these mistakes when it comes to the 401k, the TSP,
Okay.
the 403Bs. We talked about debt in that last segment.
Yes.
One of the biggest mistakes is folks taking distributions from their employer-sponsored retirement accounts to spend for big-ticket items like automobiles.
Really?
All right? So the biggest one, let's talk about the first mistake, is not having a plan. Okay?
Yeah.
There's some of the folks have experienced job loss, or furloughs, approaching retirement quickly. They're facing a complex, difficult time in making decisions. So if they really want to know how to avoid the pitfalls of distribution from their employer-sponsored retirement accounts,
Yeah.
get a complimentary consultation. Just ask Freeman.
JustAskFreeman.com, right, Freeman?
Exactly. Or they could just ask Freeman, Freeman at JustAskFreeman.com if they want a chat or response by email.
Oh,
But they can get a consultation.
Yeah.
We're in the virtual world today.
I was just going to
You
ask
know,
you about that.
Because of the pandemic and
Yes.
everything here. So, again, contact us at 833-414-7233, Just Ask Freeman, and get a complimentary, efficient tax plan. Not having an investment plan is so archaic.
Yes.
You need support, you need guidance, and when you're talking about retirement, we help you how to, you're in the distribution phase, you've had your accumulation phase. Now I'm talking about folks that are 59 and a half plus, already, have income producing assets of at least 250, 500,000 up, all right?
Gotcha.
So you maxed out that employer-sponsored retirement account for 20 years. Got about 6 to 8% on your retirement money. And you say, well, now I can retire.
Right.
But no plan.
So
What do you
how are they
think?
going to do that?
Just ask Freeman.
Just ask Freeman. Exactly.
Call us at 833-414-7233, and we'll have a comprehensive, complimentary, tax-efficient plan and assessment.
Yeah.
Boy, we've grown in this.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, because of the complexities we've seen the past few years here in the financial world.
Yeah.
Now we have experience here that we can help so many folks avoid pitfalls when it comes to their employer-sponsored retirement account.
Absolutely.
Now, not having an investment plan or strategic plan, that's number one. That's a mistake.
Okay.
So what do you think, Paul, if you take your money in a check payable to you, can you imagine what the employer does
Oh,
to that distribution?
wow. That's got to be, I mean, I would imagine a big chunk of taxes, right?
It is 20% tax liability, referred to as what? Withholding.
Yes.
Okay. That's mandatory federal income tax. Now you have approximately 60 days in order to deposit or make a contribution to an employer and into a pre-taxed vehicle, either into an IRA or back into an employer-sponsored retirement account.
Gotcha.
And however, you've got to make sure that that's done correctly. What's the solution?
What is the solution?
Just ask Freeman.
Just ask Freeman. I love it.
I
Love it.
tell you, just ask Freeman.
Yeah.
Call us and get a complimentary consultation. Call us at 833-414-7233, and we can help you avoid that substantial tax liability just because you incurred an early withdrawal and avoid penalties as well. Now, I'd like to talk about, what do you think, Paul, if we keep our 401k with the former employer?
Yeah, I was going to ask you specifically what happens when you have a 401k that you've left behind, because a lot of good folks out there may have changed their career path once or twice, Freeman.
All right, that's true. Now, you can leave it behind, but let's say you're a federal employee, you separated from service, and you retired over, say, over the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Last 5 years. And so you know that TSP, or that, if you're in the private sector, that 401k is just sitting there. Well, it still has a chance to grow tax deferred, but there's no growth. And you cannot make any contributions to that employer-sponsored retirement account with your former employer.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So that limits your potentially income at a higher cost if you leave it right there with your former employer. There's another question you wanted to address to me about rolling over the money to a new employer plan.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. And so is it possible for someone to roll that 401k from a previous employer to their new employer?
Yeah. Here's the pitfalls on that, Paul.
Okay, what is it?
You ready?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yes, I'm absolutely sure. I mean, I'm on the edge of my seat here, Freeman.
I want to make sure that our audience is viewing this.
Yeah.
I've mentioned this to younger people, too, in their retirement planning journey. When you have a 401k or employer-sponsored retirement account, and you decide you change jobs, you bring the employer-sponsored retirement account with restrictions from the former employer right into the restrictions on distribution and contributions to that employer-sponsored retirement account with your new employer.
Oh, really?
So instead, what you should do is do a direct rollover out from your former employer to your own IRA, your own individual retirement account.
Really?
That's what you should do, because therefore you may have more options in distribution. You have beneficiary options when it comes to your own IRA.
Yes.
And also, with our practice, we don't have to, you don't necessarily, fees are not charged. We are compensated by the various companies we represent.
Gotcha.
Okay. So, folks, roll over the money to your own IRA and take control, all right? So it's important to weigh your options so you don't incur fees or additional fees.
Yes.
And so I always say, just ask Freeman.
Just ask Freeman.
833-414-7233 and get a complimentary consultation.
I love it.
If you have income-producing assets, Paul, of at least $250,000, $500,000, you want to protect those assets.
You bet I do.
Because again, what phase are we in? We're in the distribution phase for those individuals who are approaching retirement.
Right. And we all know the biggest concern people have is outliving their money these days,
Thank you.
Right?
That's right. You want to make sure that you have the peace of mind. I've said this on several shows. Peace of mind, so important.
Absolutely.
Okay. Knowing that a nice size piece of your funds are safe, all right? And producing income that you can't possibly outlive. See, we don't know our date of death.
No, absolutely.
But what we have to do is plan for longevity, okay?
Yes.
And we'll talk about that in an upcoming show.
I'm excited.
On our timeline.
Yes.
All right? It's based on a lot of different factors, how long we'll be here.
Yeah.
But you want to be comfortable and have that peace of mind.
Absolutely. You don't want to have stress in your retirement, for sure.
Yes, indeed. So, as I mentioned, we rolled over the money to an IRA.
Right.
Okay. IRAs offer more versatility. Now, I have a text.
Okay.
The 10 IRA mistakes.
Got it.
And how to avoid the tax traps.
Ooh.
Okay.
Can we talk about that when we come back from break?
We sure can.
I want to do that, okay?
All righty.
But Freeman said it best. It's about control. You got to have control of your retirement. Be in control. Do you want the government in control, your employer in control, or you? Pick up the phone. Just ask Freeman. 833-414-7233. Complimentary review. A call that could change your life. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after these messages.
Unexpected events like a global pandemic can turn our world upside down overnight. They can cause volatile shifts in the market and may cause you to question the confidence in your current retirement plan. As a pre-retiree or retiree, knowing you have a plan that can withstand the worst economic conditions can help you sleep at night. Contact us today for your complimentary review to find out where you stand. Just ask Freeman. Call us at 833-414-7233. We're frequently asked where we think tax rates are headed. Most experts agree tax rates will eventually have to go up as our federal debt increases. Without any changes, the government's current plan is set to expire in 2025. Every penny counts, especially in your retirement. Is your current plan efficient and optimized to reduce your tax obligation? Contact us today. Just ask Freeman. For a complimentary review, reach us at 833-414-7233.
Welcome back, everybody, to Just Ask Freeman. I'm your host, Paul Gebhardt, with my special guest today, Mr. Freeman Owen Jr. himself, of Just Ask Freeman.
Hey, I'm glad to be here.
Buddy, I'm having a great time. You're giving people some good information about the pitfalls of their 401k plans, right?
Yeah, and, folks have been making mistakes. During the pandemic, individuals, employees were withdrawing monies from their 401k, and then they see all the fees and the tax liabilities on these withdrawals. No, folks, don't do that.
Right.
And some were withdrawing funds. None of my clients are, because we've rolled over their 401ks and their employer-sponsored retirement accounts into the IRAs.
Got it.
Where there's a non-taxable event, direct rollover to that IRA. Now, the 401k is an accumulation vehicle. I understand that. So is an IRA. So you could take your IRA and have a couple of aspects in the growth, growth and income. We're able to help you have instruments that give you potential growth followed by income, and then some where we have potential growth and income at the same time.
Oh, that's nice. That's a really nice feature.
And if they want to know, just ask Freeman.
That's absolutely right.
That's all they have to do is ring us at 833-414-7233. And if you decide, if you have at least $250,000, $500,000 in investable or income-producing assets, we'll show you how to do a non-taxable event direct rollover to have the versatility, have the options when it comes to beneficiaries, have the distributions under your control, and devoid of fees. You can also get my text as a complimentary. Text to you when we have a complimentary virtual meeting. Now, I like to have that book when you become a client. It has everything in there so that you could see how to avoid the 10 IRA mistakes. Okay, now we're at the IRA stage. Okay, and the tax traps now that surround those IRAs, individual retirement accounts. So we'll be able to help you with the distribution from your IRA and making it last.
So they get a complimentary copy of the book, right?
Exactly.
When they come meet with Just Ask Freeman, right?
They
get to meet you in person, get a complimentary copy of your book.
Or either what we'll do is I've been doing a lot of virtual meetings.
Virtual? Okay.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
And make it convenient for the client.
Yes.
Potential client there. So if we're meeting, what I'll do is if you're wearing a mask, I've been vaccinated, we're socially distanced. All right. And we're beginning to open up slowly. But we've been doing the virtual for the past year and a half, 2 years. And worked successfully. And folks say, well, look, Freeman, can you help me when it comes to withdrawing my money, and avoid the pitfall of not reinvesting those funds? And you've got to make good decisions in retirement because remember in the last segment I said you can't use that American Express or that Visa to purchase,
Right.
to charge your retirement.
Yep.
You have to purchase it, and you need financial assistance from our firm, Just Ask Freeman.
Yes.
Okay, so that those the funds that you have accumulated now, when we hit that distribution stage, we've got to have those funds last your entire life.
Yes.
And there are factors involved with that in your retirement journey.
Yes.
And we'll talk about some of the things that offset, like inflation,
Yep.
increased health care. We'll talk about that after we discuss some more of these pitfalls.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, now, you leave your 401k funds where there are after you leave a company. Is that a good idea? What do you think?
I don't think so.
A lot of folks don't realize it's not a great idea.
Right.
Okay, now it might be advantageous, but the options to consider have to be tailored to your situation.
Yes.
Now, if you leave your money there in that company, your former employer, you may have limited options.
Yeah.
And there are limited options such as, especially when it comes to distribution. Now, we're in the distribution phase now. Usually, when you're working and have a 401k, the distribution could be up to $50K.
Right.
You could borrow that money.
Right.
$10,000 as far as a first-time home buyer. Education, $10K. Now, you're separated from service.
Yeah.
You have access to that entire taxable amount.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yes.
20% withholding.
Yes.
What happens if you're under 59 and a half?
What happens?
Another 10% penalty.
Ouch.
Now, suppose you have $1 million you've
Yeah.
accumulated
Yeah.
over the years. 500,000.
Yes.
You say, well, I think I'll take this and run with it.
Yeah.
Well, $1 million, that's $300,000 in tax liability.
Wow.
If you're under 59 and a half.
That's unbelievable. You know what? Believe it or not, we're coming down to the end of the show already.
Oh, man, the clock on the wall is telling us.
It's telling us it's time to go. Could you believe that?
I can't believe it, man.
Well, listen.
Yes.
It's all about Just Ask Freeman, because Freeman has answers that will help you on this retirement journey. The pitfalls in your 401k, the tax consequences. All you have to do is pick up the phone, the call to change your life, 833-414-7233. We want to thank you for being with us. Be well and enjoy your retirement.